Hey everyone, welcome in to Tyrion Gaming. Going to be starting a new series today called Play My Campaign, and essentially it's going to be a first 10 or a first 20 turns guide depending on how long it takes each individual faction to get to a place where they can securely start rolling through their campaign on Legendary. Going to start off today with Eataine and Tyrion on Legendary Very Hard and Legendary Chaos Invasion. So let's go ahead and kick it off. And it's mostly just going to be tips and tricks for what you can do to get each legendary lord to a spot where you can kind of securely figure out a way to push out into the world on legendary. I'll also be linking the save file, so if you want to continue from where I leave off, you can go ahead and just download that save file, and I'll leave instructions for those folks who don't know how to do it, where to put that save file, so that you can play the campaign as well. So with Eataine, obviously one of their biggest strengths is their economy, and what you want to do is get to a spot where you're able to get that economy
Tyrion, mightiest of the Aesir, gatekeeper of Ulthuan. The Druchii threat is at your very door. Eataine is occupied. You must purge this menace. You are not alone in your fight against the insidious Druchii. Other Aesir houses inhabit Ulthuan. They could be allies, or foes, if you will. Nagarond looms, sending constant threats against Ulthuan. Even now, they establish footholds within sacred lands. Others of your kind will surely fight back, but can they be trusted to succeed? The inner and outer kingdoms must unify, but beyond the shores of Ulthuan, where should the mighty elves go? The question is put to you, Tyrion.
Alright, so kicking it off, obviously you start out at war with a single faction, and that is Cult of Excess. And the first thing we're going to do with Tyrion is we're actually going to take the Tower of Lycene. Now we know that there's an army here, and we know that there's an army here, but this is the one we can reach, and that's the one we're going to go after first. It may look difficult to do when you've only starting with 7 units, but what we're really going to do here is utilize our Ithilmar chariots and our Silver Helms, as well as Tyrion to waste ammo. The other big decision you have to make is what do you want to do with your noble. I think what you really should start doing immediately as Eataine is gathering influence, and really as any of the High Elf factions, because influence is going to be really important later on down the line. So we're going to actually head over and we're going to try and do a secure influence on Angerial.
There will be carnage. I have done well.
And we get our first success. We'll go ahead and level him up. I'm going to level up secure influence first, and then we'll do specialist next until the second point comes available in secure influence. The other thing is, what do you want to do in Lothern? And the first thing I would recommend is just get rid of this building. You aren't going to need it. That should be built in a minor settlement like the Tower of Lycene. We'll also start the upgrade process on Lothern itself. And we're also going to check our diplomacy options. Now there's a couple of things that you want to do right away, and that is get the other High Elf factions to like you and get non-aggression pacts and trade agreements as quickly as possible, so that you can, number one, start building your economy, and number two, you don't end up in unnecessary wars while you're trying to establish yourself in Lothern. So let's go ahead. We'll start with
your wit and wisdom will be a welcome
and see if we can't get a
of
trade
course.
agreement, and you'll see that that will immediately start increasing our relations with them.
Lady of Ulthuan.
Defender of the
same
I
thing
will
with
receive your
Illyrian,
petition in the name of
and
the
in this
Phoenix.
case will be a
Certainly
non-aggression
not.
pact, which they won't take, but that's fine.
Need me?
We also want to try and get a trade agreement and a non-aggression pact going with Calidor, and the bigger reason that you want to get that with Calidor is so that you can meet Imric and get ready to confederate him. So another thing that we're going to do here is we're actually going to pay these factions a little bit of cash, because it's super cheap to do that in the early game. So we're going to send a small gift. We'll see if they'll take a non-aggression pact with that as well. If they won't, then we'll just pay them.
Futile. wise indeed.
And then what that does is it starts getting this arrow going in the right direction.
Prince
And we'll do the
of
same
Elfwine,
thing with
what would you
Illyrian,
ask of
because
the
we
Asa?
definitely don't want to be going to war with any of these guys early on. We really want to focus on Cult of Excess. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll offer payment and non-aggression.
Misguided.
And if they refuse, then we'll just offer a payment.
Very well.
And again, that gets us going in the right direction with our relationship with them. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to head up and we're actually going to take the Tower of Lysine.
By Assyrian.
And it looks like this is really not in our favor and it's going to be an impossible battle to win, but we'll
I
kind of walk
lust
through
for
how you're going to
battle.
do this.
I am ready to fight.
So one of the things we're going to concentrate very hard on here is obviously wasting ammo with Tyrion. If you're not comfortable with that tactic, that's fine. This would be definitely not the way you would want to go in a legendary campaign then. You would want to stay back in Lothern and just recruit archers until you're ready to push out. But if you want to be aggressive, this is something that you kind of have to do. So we're going to hide all of our units in the trees.
Understood. For duty.
Except for Tyrion, who is going to be out here wasting ammo. And then we'll go ahead and fight the battle. A couple of things when you're wasting ammo. You could go straight to the center and try and waste all 4 of these frontline Dark Shard units ammo first. I would recommend not trying to do that because Tyrion will take a lot of excess damage just from area of effect fire that is inflicted. So I would start by trying to get either 2 or 3 units firing at you. And we'll go ahead and we'll walk through this battle. And we'll start wasting the ammo. The idea is to do it without taking too much hit point damage. You're obviously going to have to take some, but again, this is why I try to get only 2 or 3 of them firing at a time instead of 4. You'll take a lot less hit point damage that way. Alright, so we've got Tyrion with just under half of his health, which is pretty decent. Now we're going to let the chariots go to work. And we'll let them settle down, get into a position. And we'll start by taking out the Dark Shards. And obviously the idea here is just try not to take any hit point damage while you're doing this. It's going to be hard for them to damage us, but we still want to take as little damage as possible with each of these units we're going to take out. Because all of that means we're taking away balance of power, which makes it much easier for us to get them off the battlefield later. Still haven't lost a model yet, that's good. And we're almost at 400 kills, so it's almost time to bring in the Silver Helms for the next phase. So, since we haven't lost any models yet, here's where we're going to stop with the chariots, because we want to use them later in the battle, and we still have all 4 models. So now we're going to use the Silver Helms, and we'll get them down to about 30 models or so. But again, we'll just cycle charge in, and if it looks like spears are going to front, then we will just charge back out until we can isolate those bleak swords. That's really what we want, is isolating their non-spear units. And we're almost down to 30 models, which is pretty much our threshold, but we'll keep going because we might be able to take out that entire bleak sword unit here. Yeah, they're super isolated now. Alright, our archers have started firing, so we're going to pull these guys out. we're going to slow this down just a bit.
March!
See if we can't pull some of these units away and distract them.
Attack! For Asuryan!
Ithilmar chariots! Weapons ready! Asa, advance! Quickly now! We away!
Following orders! Heir of Anarion! Sail!
Serve the king! Ithilmar chariots!
Lakoi! For Ulthuan!
By Illyrio! Apace! For the Everqueen! We advance! Ithilmar chariots! Onward! Kadai be praised! Forward! Following orders!
One Dread Spirit is almost routing. Let's go ahead and get Tyrion in against their lord.
Following orders!
Swiftly! Asuryan guides us! Eataine!
And we definitely want to make sure that we shatter these units as we can. We also want to make sure Tyrion doesn't take too much damage, so let's get him in and out. We want him charging in against the Lord, but not actually fighting their spears.
Archers! Advance! Asur! Attack!
Asa!
Move!
Moving out!
Get these
Asuryan
guys around the
guides
flank
us!
here.
Acknowledged! Champion of Alaria! Silver
Them
Hounds!
chase those bleak swords off and him rear and cycle charge.
Archers! It shall be done! Lakoi!
Move! We go!
Okay, Tyrion can go ahead in. They're shattered, that's good. Let's go ahead and chase them off.
Ithilmar chariots!
And we'll do some more rear charging here.
Defender of Ulthuan!
Asa! Attack! Asa! Forward!
We still haven't lost a chariot model, which is great. They're all shattered. Let's chase them off. And there's the battle victory. Army loss penalty went into effect, so we never lost a model. We lost about half of our silver helms, which is what we were shooting for, and about half of Tyrion's health. All really good things here. So that's how you would do that first battle. And because it's a heroic victory, we actually get a little bit of extra XP out of that too. The key to that, though, is trying to get about 500 kills from your chariots without losing a model, because these will now fully replenish over the end turn. You don't have to wait, and you can use them again in the next battle when you're ready to go.
Ancestors be praised. Claim anything of
Just
value.
occupy.
Occupy this place. Champion of the Ever Queen.
First point we'll take is Route Marcher. And we will also
Tyrion,
recruit
heir of Anarion.
3 extra archers. We only have 1 technology to research, so that decision is made easy.
Shield against the darkness.
And we're going to get rid of this so that we can build that here.
Dark-hearted
And both of those will give us a little bit of extra cash for the next turn. We'll once again quickly check our diplomacy.
Lord of the Phoenix Court. It is agreeable to spend one's time in dignity. Unwise.
Speak. Your words shall reach the Phoenix throne. Choose them. Certainly not.
And we will move on.
We are pure of heart.
So now we'll
servant
move
of the king.
Tyrion down to Lothern to
Inspecting
finish
the
recruiting
garrison.
before we move on to Angerial and the Shrine of Assyrian.
What do you require?
We'll actually secure influence against
There
the
will
Shrine
be
of Assyrian
carnage.
this time. Failures are okay, as long as you're getting
Our
some
cause
experience.
is noble.
That's really what matters. There's a couple of things that we could do here. We could just do this traditionally,
Madness
which
will
is
consume the
recruit the army and then go take Angerial. They will recruit and move
Short-sighted.
back here next turn, so it will be a little bit tougher. You can also recruit a lord and use that lord as bait to draw them into an ambush.
Protector of the Everqueen.
And we're going to go ahead and build the plaza. We're going to check our diplomacy again.
I serve the king. What brings you to the Phoenix Court? Futile. As you say.
Prince of Ulthuan, I bid you welcome, traveler. What would unwise? Defender, welcome, fellow Asser. What would you wish to discuss? I will see to it.
Champion of the Everqueen.
And we're going to go for Spear Wall first.
The gods stand with me.
What order?
And just to demonstrate it, we'll go ahead and recruit a lord. And they're all going to be terrible. So it's finding the least terrible of your options to use as bait. Peaky's not bad. Actually, we'll use Ridiculed and the Life Mage.
High Elven Archmage.
And what we'll do is after Tyrion has recruited a little bit, we'll put this over here and we'll put Tyrion in ambush behind it and see if we can't draw that army into us. I think we're good for this turn, and obviously this does affect your income, but we'll be disbanding that lord. Alright. So now we
I await your command.
try and secure influence again.
Destruction.
And what we'll do is we'll take
High Elven Archmage.
this lord and put her out here. We want a spot ambush success chance is highest, which looks like it will be there. So we're going to put her right behind that here.
Seeking a trial.
And we're going to move Tyrion to the spot where we have the
Tyrion,
highest
heir of
ambush
an area.
success chance.
Lying in wait.
And we should pretty easily be able
Ridiculous.
to handle that army.
The Reaper.
The fallen ones outnumber
Quickly
us.
check
How can I assist? Welcome.
our
Your words
diplomacy
and
options
deeds
again.
will be... I think not.
Protector, I speak for the Phoenix King, and I cannot do this.
Now we do have 6 influence. We can go
Darkness
ahead and
awaits
spend
us.
the intrigue to increase with Calidor, which will cost us 5, and I am going to do that because I definitely want to try and confederate Imric if possible. And the other thing we can do is we can go ahead and
Corruption
build
makes
this
them
building here, which honestly may not be as important as the craftsman, so I'm going to put that building back. And let's see if we can draw Erithar into an ambush. So even without the ambush succeeding, we should still have no trouble at all beating this army. The key is going to be getting through the battle and preserving as many of our units as possible. That way we can continue on and attack the...
Bring me battle! I am
the
ready
settlement.
to fight!
We'll set up in a way where we can't get flanked. And if they let and chase them down, as that is the army loss penalty.
Orders received. Silver help.
The biggest unit to make sure we get rid of here is
Heir of Anarian!
definitely the Shades.
It will be done.
Archers, for the Ever Queen.
I shall.
Orders understood.
And that should do it for them. We don't want to actually kill Arathar, but we do want to get the hit points as low as possible.
Attack!
At once.
Immediately!
It shall be done. Asurian guides us. Attack! Advance!
Agreed!
It shall be done. Lakoi! Without question. Archers! Ho!
Servants of light, understood!
One thing you'll notice is the chariots do tend to push things around, so if you see that happening, just back off and
Heir
then charge
of
again.
Anarian! Alariel!
That way Tyrion can get in there and do some actual damage. Alright, that's good. We don't actually want to kill that lord. And we're in pretty good shape now to go ahead and make the attack on the settlement next turn.
Slaves are always useful. Let them go.
And we will... Influence is the most important thing
Enslave
here.
them.
While the replenishment would be nice, we don't
Release
really need
them.
it. We're not going to have a big problem with the next battle because it's just going to be the one unit plus the garrison.
Bind them.
And we also
Deliver them
really
to their
need
ancestors.
the influence
They are free to go.
much more, and the cash is also helpful. And we no
High
longer
Elven
need
Archmage.
this lord. It would be interesting to take her in just against Erithar, but we're going to go ahead and just
Master
disband.
of Magic.
And that gets our economic
Protector of the
situation back in
Everqueen.
order. And then for Tyrion, there's a lot of different ways you can go here. So I would always recommend using the Majesty of Ulthuan line once that opens up. Lightning Strike is always important for most lords, and I don't think High Elves are any different. So we're going to go ahead and head into the blue line first before we start making Tyrion a better fighter, and then using Majesty of Ulthuan once that opens up. Recruitment cost, really not that big a deal. At some point we're going to be fairly rich as High Elves, since they're probably the second richest faction in the game, so we're going to go with Wary. And he got 2 points. And
The
then we'll go
Druki
ahead
are
and
no
move up,
threat.
secure more influence.
Smash it to ruins.
At your service.
Very unlucky so far with our failures there. Now, he will come in this battle, so
Corruption
we will
makes
want
them
to try and
weak.
kill Erithar here if we can.
Orion. I lust for battle.
Spearman!
Fear the might of Ulthuan. Take what is
We'll just
rightfully
occupy.
ours.
Again, we don't want to sack. We want to keep these at as high a level as we possibly can. The
Occupy
growth is
this
more
place.
important to us early on, even though that's a nice
To
amount
the
of
victor,
cash.
the
Cash
spoils.
is not going to be a problem.
Beware of knives. My strength grows. Champion of the Everqueen.
And we will continue to push him to Lightning Strike. And then next turn,
We are
will
pure
take the
of
Shrine of
heart.
Assyrian.
You have my attention.
Let's quickly check our diplomacy options again.
At your service. The Phoenix King is wise and merciful.
Trade agreement first.
Wise indeed. Can I offer assistance? All are given a fair hearing in the Phoenix Court. As you say.
Prince of Ulthuan, I will receive your
And
petition in the
Valyrian.
name of the Phoenix. Misguided.
We will just offer some cash. Again, it's cheap early on.
I will see to it.
And the other thing we can do with Illyrian is we should have enough influence now. Let's see what the cost is.
Weak warriors.
It's 6 at this point, so we're not going to do that. And we actually really want to spend that strictly on Calador so that we can get them confederated as early as possible, because Imric tends to get destroyed fairly early, and he's the hardest lord to
Dark-hearted
confederate at this
fools.
point. So we'll just continue to dump our influence into Calador. And it looks like he might actually need some help against Noctilus at some point as well. So we also have a couple of rights, and I would recommend using the +2 influence per turn as early as possible. It's going to take a lot of our cash, but we can afford
Our
it.
traditions
We're
give
making
me
enough
strength.
cash at this point that it shouldn't matter. It's also going to reduce our construction cost for 20 turns, which is a big deal as well. So we'll go ahead and perform that right. And that will help our influence out. And then he's going to be
Direct.
hitting this next turn, And then once we're done trying to get influence out of them, because we'll be taking out the Cult of Excess, then we're going to send him down to Galleon's graveyard, and he's going to start gathering influence there. Let's just make sure we don't have anybody else that we can make agreements with.
My guards stand ready.
Looks like we're good.
Nagaroth breeds weak warriors.
And of course now we have 11 influence because we're gaining extra per turn. We'll also have
Valiant.
our noble go ahead and
Destruction.
attempt to secure influence there again. Really unlucky that we've only had one success so far. And then
Ready
Tyrion
for
will
orders.
go ahead and finish off
For my queen,
the Cult of Excess. And we will fight
there
this
is
manually.
glory to be won. The Assur have triumphed.
Keep your wits about
The
you.
gods are pleased.
So Cult of Excess is now destroyed, and we have
Shield
secured
against
the
the
entire
darkness.
province of Eataine. And we're off to what should be a pretty good start. There's a lot of different
Ready for
directions you
orders.
could go from here. We'll go ahead and do public order as we're on our way to Lightning Strike.
You
So,
have
like
my
I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the noble down to Galleon's graveyard and let him level up down there and continue to secure influence. The next best thing probably is to start going after Count Noctilus himself, especially since he's going to attempt to take out Calidor, which obviously you don't want. And this will also get you in good with Calidor when you declare war on Noctilus, and he's actually in a really good position
Champion
for that.
of the Ever Queen.
We're also going to go ahead and recruit one more frontline and 2 more archers.
The people
And
are
you
resting.
could also think about continuing to build your influence to 15 to get another lord ready to come up, but probably wouldn't recommend that right away. You shouldn't have any need for it right away, and you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go as far as enemies go. Eltharion's probably not going to have any difficulty at all with Grom, so you could join in there and get yourself in good with Eltharion as well. We're going to go ahead and issue the growth command here. And from this point, I would say you've got some options as far as buildings go. So you could continue to increase your public order. You could increase your ability to generate income from your entertainment building, which is the plaza in the first place, and that will also get you ready for when you're at tier 4 to get another noble, so you can continue to secure influence there as well. What you really want to concentrate though on is growth for Lothern, getting that upgraded as quickly as possible. That being said, we are going to go ahead and build the growth building at the Shrine of Assurion. We've got our army being recruited, and we are now ready to push forward. Let's quickly check our diplomacy options again.
Protector of... I bid you welcome, traveler. What misguided?
So it may actually be worth
Defender of the Ever Queen.
spending some influence on Illyrian just to ensure that they don't declare war on you randomly, because that's not who you want to be fighting. You want them to be developing their territory for you so that when you're ready to confederate, they're all at high level, and you can concentrate on enemies who should actually be your enemies. And because we do have a noble that can
Standing
gather
by.
influence, and we're gathering influence per turn through the invocation of Assurion, we'll have enough influence in a few turns to continue dumping that into
How wise.
Calidor.
What brings you to the Phoenix Court?
And what we'll do is, once we're ready, we'll join his war against Noctilus to increase our
The Asa
opinion
are
with him.
troubled.
So that's through turn 5. And that puts us off to a really good start. So there you go, there's your first quest. You'll want to build the promenade, which
You
I
must
believe
restore
is
order.
this building here. You won't be able to get there until this is ready to upgrade, which isn't going to happen for another 3 or 4 turns, depending on how well growth goes. My recommendation, if you want to continue on with this campaign, would be to move Tyrion down into Noctilus's sphere of influence and then declare war using Calidor to declare that war. But that's where we'll leave this. I will post the save file in a link down below. Feel free to pick that up if you want to continue to play this campaign from this point forward. If you haven't had a chance, do please hit that subscribe button for me. It does help grow the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. If you have any suggestions for another Play My Campaign, be happy to take those in the comment section as well. Appreciate everybody who stopped by to take a look, and we'll see you back here for the next episode. Thanks a lot.